Yo, we back with My Hero Academia. The manga's almost over, guys. I'm very sad. This chapter is wild. I haven't I did a lot better about staying away from leaks this week. The only thing I did was look at the panels. I didn't even read like any of the leaked like summaries to go with each panel. I literally just looked at each panel Thursday morning, and then I have done my best to not look at it at all. I've seen some of the threads that are like debunking and disproving, and everyone's kind of freaking out. I don't know what people are freaking out about. I mean, I vaguely do, but I have been actively avoiding it so that I can read the official chapter, which is what we're going to do. So there is no break next week. So the plan is to also do a reaction stream next week. Every week there's a chapter going towards the end here, is the hope. So I'm just going to jump right into it because I want to read the chapter. All right, dog. All right. Here we go. Also, I don't know. I do know that the chapter title is at the end. I think it's really interesting that Horikoshi is starting to put his chapter titles at the end, because he's done that with like the last 3 chapters of like putting the chapter titles at the end of the chapter instead of the beginning. So that's pretty crazy. So all right, we got the weather lady from the U.S. So glad we're getting good U.S. representation in this series. United States, Washington State. Good. Not D.C. Good. There's hope for us yet. As you can see, we've got clear sunny skies across the entire country. We were anticipating a week of stormy weather, so I'd like to apologize for being off the mark. What is that? Hold on, I can't read that. Please, Meryl, no more weird outbursts. Hey, listen. She's just doing her job, you know? But hold on to your hats out there, folks, as we are expecting some strong winds. Yes, the gust that blew that day came in the wake of a great battle. Oh, yeah, we got all the people. Bring that here, won't you? Sure, I appreciate the help. Stay tuned for updates on what sort of effects we'll be seeing from that. I'm just gonna keep reading. I'm not gonna talk about anything till I get to the end. Look, our house got built. Yeah, spring up quick as bamboo. That's awesome. 1 week passed. The restoration efforts that had stalled after the Jakku conflict picked up at a breakneck pace. With the battles over, the United States and many other nations showed up with an outpouring of support and resources. After seeing their wild fight, we couldn't sit back and do nothing. So valid. So valid. Hey, that's Uraraka's dad. He ain't gonna be poor no more. What can I say? Don't say Shigaraki didn't do anything for anyone. The Survey Bureau lent us the plans and blueprints so we can start rebuilding whatever's on the docket. Here you go. Wow. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Before the advent of the exceptional, restoration on a similar scale would have taken over a decade. That is true. But with so many capable quirks devoted to the effort, it shouldn't be long before things won't ever be back to normal. So I'm assuming the doctor is talking about Bakugo, but it's like tying into this narrative. As I explained prior to the surgery, this is the best we could hope for. I promise you we did all we could, especially after seeing your son's exploits. A great number of bone segments had to be joined and set, and I can't guarantee that any amount of rehabilitation will give him back the use of his arm. If he's determined to work as a hero, he could consider a prosthesis? Prosthesis? I don't think that's the right word there. Like Mirko's. Nah, forget that. Because my quirk comes from my palms. Oh, true. True. Because he is not like Mirko, where his quirk comes from somewhere else. Or like Todoroki, who could theoretically do it without his hands. Bakugo's quirk literally is his hand. So his right arm is down for the count. That's cool. Katsuki. Plus, he never even had one. Give me that recap. Bring on the pain. The sooner the better. No. Only low effort exercise for now. More than your arm, the problem is your heart. You'd be dead without Edgeshot's masterful suturing, which helped restart your heart and lungs. I have no idea how you managed to keep fighting in that state, and I'm frankly flabbergasted that you blasted your way across several kilometers after that. You were given a second shot at life, and you heeded the call. In any case, my only prescription for now is bed rest. Yeah, he's not... Yeah, Bakugo, you're done. You're not doing anything. Are you awake? What are the odds we'd end up side by side, All Might? Sukuhuchi arranged it this way. Oh. They're short on rooms, and this makes life easier for the guards. How are you feeling? They said they'd never had to use quite so many bolts to cobble somebody back together. All Might, no! What did you do, dog? That's actually kind of insane. Yeah, All Might was so... We just had to literally screw this guy back together. How about you, Midoriya, kid? I'm getting some feeling back in my arms. I couldn't save Tenko's life. Even after reaching into his heart and shattering that hatred, Tenko remained the League of Villains leader to the very end. Speaking as someone who went through a near-death experience, I want you to ask yourself, what was the look on his face in the end? It's already been destroyed. Oh yeah, that depends on what you decide, on what you people decide to do tomorrow. What is that a callback to? I don't remember. Make sure you do your damn best. Assuming he didn't still look like that crying kid, then you did save him. His soul, anyway. And you did your duty to One for All. You passed it on, right? I felt it happening. Oh, no! And Shigaraki didn't give it back, did he? Yeah, but... I can still feel the ember smoldering inside. Oh, yeah. This chapter's gonna hurt me. How the hell are you up and about? Kachon, you're okay. Phew. Sorry about him, All Might. He was just worried about you. You too, Deku. Sorry. Wait, the ember? You mean you're... quirkless again? Now I see why this chapter was so controversial. Yep, but I never had a quirk in the first place. So I can't be too broken up about it. Besides, I couldn't have transferred it without wanting to. My time with it gave me a glimpse of the most amazing dream. And then we're flashing back. What dirty tricks did you use to do it, you quirkless twerp? Then I'm going to rise even higher than that. Gotta keep growing too. Don't you dare let me surpass you, Izuku. Dang, Bakugo's like broken up about this. He's like, brother, no. How are we gonna keep being rivals if you don't got powers, bro? Oh, this kind of hurts. Watch on. No. I mean, what the hell did I do to you? I guess I thought we'd be competing and I'd be on your heels for the rest of our lives. Hey, cut that out. This isn't like you. I still got that ember for now. Look, being all banged up must be making you emotionally vulnerable. Not Deku being like, bro, suck it up. No crying. Shut those tears off, brother. The two of you have grown so strong. You're so different from the day we met. Midoriya, kid, when I saw you diving into the fray that day, you were already a great hero as far as I was concerned. But now, the way you're encouraging the world to get back up on its feet, now you're a great hero to all of them too. And you made darn sure I'd still be around to say these things. You hear me, Bakugo? to my pair of great heroes, I say thank you. When I was little, I thought that when the big battle was won, peace would be restored to the world just like that. However, our tale doesn't end here. It can't. The fight may be over, but until we lead the way to a bright future, we've got to go further beyond. Number 424, Epilogue. Kohei Horikoshi, you mad lad. You mad lad. All right, let's go through it. That's a lot. First of all, Deku's punch did in fact clear the weather, which is a parallel to All Might at the very beginning of the series bringing in the rain, and now Deku making it go away. I also want to note Horikoshi's author comment from this week, which was basically, let me see if I can find it, because I quote retweeted it myself. Hold on. I quote retweeted it myself because I was really excited about what he had to say, because it gives me a lot of hope. Let's see. I shouldn't have to go back too far. No. That was Friday. Where is it? There it is. So Horikoshi's comment this week. Writing conventions say that the conclusions of a story should be short, but this is not the type of manga that can immediately end after the fighting is done. So I'll keep going for a little while. We're going back to the title. So we're going back to school, obviously, at the end of the chapter, because, like, at the end, you can see they're going back to UA. I'm going to come back to the glaring thing on screen. Don't you worry. So it is nice to see that he is continually fleshing out the reconstruction, because a lot of stories do just end. Like, a lot of stories do just end. Hey, Golden Era, welcome. And that is one thing that frustrates me, is when a story, like, the fighting is over and then the story is over and there's no resolution. So for a series like My Hero that is really into the whole, like, almost meta commentary, it feels weird. It would feel weird to not wrap things up and be like, okay, how are we not going to have another Shigaraki? How are we not going to have another League of Villains? What is going to change in society? And I think you can already see that even on these panels here of, like, all of these heroes and all these people coming together, not because they're getting paid to do this, but because it's the right thing to do for their society and for their culture. And, like, all these other countries that are now coming out now that All for One is gone. Because here's the thing, like, villains are not going to stop. There's always going to be bad people. But what you can do is you can change society, and you can add in this reform to not have another Shigaraki level threat. And not have this person who hates society, and don't give them a society to hate. So it is really nice. Uraraka's dad down there, good for him finally getting some work. That is really exciting. And, like, you see a week went by and they've already done all this. So, like, that's really cool. The Yoshi doctor is back. He's like, bro, Bakugo's arms, they busted up. He's gone. Busted up his right arm. Which makes sense. I mean, his whole, like, quirk awakening was literally him slamming himself into the ground to get more pain so that he could get stronger. So I get it. It seems like it's going to be a while before he can do anything. This chapter felt really short. How long is it? Only 15 pages? That is kind of a short chapter. But it is, I do feel like it's an interlude to get us from the end of last chapter where there was that punch in the sky, and then whatever is coming next. Because, like, guys, we are weeks away from Izuocha being canon. Come on. Yo, that's so hype. We are, like, as soon as a week from Izuocha being canon, bro. because like they're gonna have a conversation. I think that's not to like go into my predictions already for next week. I think next week's chapter is going to be Deku and Ochako having a conversation, very much parallel to the conversation they had before the war, which was just in the anime this week. Which is going to be like, so how did your thing with Toga go? And she'll be like, how'd the thing with Shigaraki go? Because she didn't really get to watch the live stream at all. So she doesn't really know, aside from like that very little bit at the end. So them talking it out, and probably a confession of feelings at some point, which as soon as I see that in the leak, dog, I'm getting off Twitter, because it's going to be unfreaking bearable to be an Izuocho stan on Twitter. Oh my goodness. The Baku Dekus are going to cry. Which, by the way, the Baku Dekus are like, this is a good chapter for us, basically confirmed. I'm like, no. Did you not? Hold on. To the Baku Dekus out there. Brother. I challenge you to put on a pair of glasses and read the story. This is some Vegeta type stuff. This is some Vegeta level lines where he's like, man, I thought we were going to like compete and challenge and grow with each other for the rest of our lives. That's rival like brother talk, bro. To all the Baku Dekus, if any of them end up on the stream, I challenge you all to go out and make a real friend. I truly do. I truly challenge you to go out and make a friend. Because I don't know how you look at this and say, yeah, that's gay. Like, no, they're... Okay, I'm going to come back to that. We're going to... I got a lot more to go through. So Bakugo's busted up. That's pretty sick. Sick, nasty. So I'm interested to see if there's any repercussions with his heart, or if this is all we're getting. Of like, well, it was tied back together, and now he's okay. But, like, he can't do anything too strenuous, or he'll die. I don't know. So, it is really interesting that he's, like, now acknowledging that Deku never had a quirk. And he's almost humbled in a way of... He has limited use of his quirk, but Deku was able to do everything he did even before he had the quirk. So I think that is it's a nice, like, full circle character moment. And of course, having All Might and Deku in the same room is obviously awesome. I think it's really funny that All Might got himself busted up so much that he's probably going to be like in a cane or a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But also, All for One is gone, so his purpose has kind of been fulfilled. Same with Deku. Which, I mean, to everyone who's like, Deku doesn't have one for all, he quirkless now. It was literally set up, like, chapters ago, like almost or maybe it was 100 chapters ago, that Deku could be the last user of One for All. Everyone took that as like, oh, well, he's the last user of One for All because it can't be transferred to anyone who's not quirkless. And it's like, no. I think he's not going to end up with it. Because what, is he going to die with the quirk and just never pass it on to anyone? So, I am really curious. I don't... I'll get there. We're not there yet. There's big stuff at the end. I think this whole page, these 2 pages, are really indicative of the series as a whole. Because... he's like, I couldn't save Tenko's life. Even after reaching into his heart and shattering that hatred, Tenko remained the leader of the League of Villains leader to the very end. But to All Might's point, like, hey, it's not like you didn't do anything. Like, you clearly reached it. And you saved him in a sense. Because I talked about this on Twitter. Because when the leaks came out, someone was like, if Tenko wasn't going to get saved, what was the point of showing like Gentle Criminal and Lady Nagant redeeming themselves and like switching sides? The point was to showcase that redemption is something that can be offered, but it is also something that can be rejected. So in Shigaraki's case here, Deku offered that redemption, the same he did with every other villain. But also, if you look back on his motivation, he wanted to save Tenko almost by getting to the root of the issue and seeing what caused the problem. Deku's bigger character motivation here is that he wanted to get to the root of the problem to figure out how this doesn't ever happen again. And that, yes, it's not saving Tenko per se, but in a roundabout way it is, because you're acknowledging all of the things he went through and saying, man, that sucks. But also, like, you're still a mass terrorist who leveled portions of Japan and has no intention of stopping here. So, and I saw a great tweet about like how Shigaraki, when he got dusted a couple chapters ago by All For One, it was like, hey, he gave up. He let it go. He was like, the shock of being told that his entire life had been manipulated by this one man was then like, oof, he's gone. And he just gave up. And then he did come back like to get rid of him once and for all. But yeah, I think these panels kind of shut down that theory because, as I said, redemption is something that can be offered and it can be rejected. Shigaraki had no intention of stopping what he was doing because he was just that dead set in his morals. And I think if you thought, because I see a lot of people be like, oh, Toga's going to show up at UA. She's going to be a student now. Like, Dabi's going to join the family again. I think this is a really interesting ending. Because I think we all got duped into thinking that there was going to be this big happy ending of, oh, well, Shigaraki is just going to, you know, hang out with Deku and Uraraka and Toga are going to be friends. And, like, Dabi's going to reconnect with his family. And, like, no. What is the... Did we ever consider that maybe this is a win-lose? Like, to Deku, he's taking this as a loss. And if you look at Uraraka here, I feel like she's also taking this as a loss. Same for Todoroki. Like, I think they're all taking this as a loss because the most they could do is incapacitate their specific villain and save them. But it also, like, begs the question of what does it mean to actually save someone? Like, what does that mean? By putting Tenko out of his misery of being manipulated by All For One, you're saving him in that way. But also, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting take because it does... This chapter is the reason I love My Hero so much, because it has like that hopeful tone, but there's also like this darker side to it where like we didn't save Shigaraki. Like sometimes that's just how life goes. Like you really want to do this thing and you really want to save someone, or you really want to like achieve this goal, and then you don't. And what does that mean? How does that affect you as a person? How does that like... So I think that's really interesting. So, rest in peace, Shigaraki. Also, to everyone who thought Shigaraki was just going to vibe with all the UA students, like, you really thought, like, Shigaraki was going to get to hang out? Like, you really thought they were just going to let a domestic terrorist run around home free? Because it was either that or he sits and rots in Tartarus, or he just dies. Like, those were the three options. And really, the only... Death was the only real option, because I don't think anyone wanted the League to just sit in Tartarus and rot away. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. One for All is gone, I guess. So, I don't know. Who's to say? And then we get this great conversation. Deku is quirkless again. But I don't actually think he is. I don't think this is the end of the, like, quirkless plotline. I think there's more here. Because he says, I can still feel the ember smoldering inside. So, unless I'm dumb, and I don't understand, unless I'm dumb. Ah, burning slowly with smoke but no flame. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like this is the end of that. I don't know if Horikoshi would really let him be quirkless. Because, like, then he can't be a hero alongside his friends with embers. Because, like, All Might at the very longest had, like, what? 2? 3 months? No. He would have had, like... Well, no, because he actually passed it to Deku in April of last year. In the series, not real life. He would have gone, like, from April when the school season started to the Camino fight, which presumably was in July because it was the summer camp. So the longest All Might went with the embers was 4 months. So, I mean, if he's still got the embers, like, I don't know, there's something. And what's so interesting is there's no, like, the only person who can transfer quirks is gone. So it's not like All for One can just... Like, no one can just give him a quirk. One for All was the only quirk that could be passed that way, and All for One was the only quirk that could take away. So, I've also seen a lot of people complaining about this, where he's, like, so happy that he's quirkless or whatever. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is the character who almost hates himself. Like, yes, he's smiling here, but almost more to preserve Bakugo's feelings than anyone else. Not because he's actually upset. Like, he is upset. Deep down, he is upset. Don't get me wrong. Which is why he starts tearing up here. Because what All Might said kind of broke that barrier for him. But he's more preserving Bakugo's feelings here. So I think we might see a more open and honest conversation later with his other friends, like Uraraka or Ida or Todoroki. I think you'll see a more open and honest conversation later. Because remember, when he was asked to pass it on by the Vestiges earlier during the fight, he was like, no, this is a treasured gift that I was given by my favorite, like, the most important person in the world to me. I'm not just going to give this up. But then he does decide to, but that doesn't mean there's no pain associated with that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't think this is the end of that conversation. I think it's just... It's just getting to... It will come back up later, is what I'll say. Now, I kind of already made my piece about this whole, like, rivals thing. Like, I think this is the first time Deku's ever seen Bakugo cry. And Bakugo has not cried much in the series. The only time he would have gotten close was their fight way back in season 3. When he was like, I'm the one who put an end to All Might. That's the closest he would have come. So this is, like, for him to full on essentially, like, break down in front of Deku, that's, one, a big character moment for him. As someone who has been emotionally stifled in a very similar way, this is a big deal. Like, for him to show this level of emotion anywhere. Also, do you see what I mean about the white backgrounds again? Like, I'm not saying Horikoshi's slacking. He's definitely not. I can't imagine what he's going through right now. But do you see what I mean about the white backgrounds? Like, he does it again towards the end of the chapter. But, like, it feels like he didn't have the time to do backgrounds. Which, I don't know what kind of schedule he's on. But it's nothing, like, detracting. It's just, it makes the chapter feel empty. Unless he's doing it intentionally to draw more attention to what is being said. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when the volume comes out with these chapters in it. We should be getting a volume 41 cover soon. I really hope it's the one of Deku with busted up All for One, who's like pirating Shigaraki's body. I really hope that's the cover. Oh my goodness, I would lose it if that was the cover. So All Might's words are really nice talking to them, because he did say at the end of last chapter that, like, Deku had already become his hero. So, like, him actually saying that to Deku is really nice. And now we're on the last page. First of all, gang, let's just address the elephant in the room. The haircut. First of all, I don't think it's that bad. I genuinely don't know why people are whining about this haircut, because we haven't even really fully seen it yet. Like, we get this one back angle here, right? And then we get this one, like, side shot here. We have not seen it in the full context yet. So I don't think we get to make snap decisions on how it looks. Also, it might not be staying that way. Everyone's freaking out like this is his permanent endgame haircut, but it might not be staying this way. Maybe they just had to, like, shave that part of his head so they could do any surgery. Because, like, he had a Band-Aid on here. The whole right side of his head is bandaged. So clearly they were doing some kind of operation there. I don't know, man. I don't think it looks that bad. I actually think it looks kind of sick. I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of the Deku undercut edits and fan art and stuff, and I've been a fan of them. I think they look great. One of my, literally the main character in my passion project that I'm writing, who is based off of Deku loosely, has an undercut, because I like that style of haircut. I don't think it'd ever work for me personally, but, like, for the character, yes, it absolutely works. So I think it looks fine. And as I said earlier, I am really excited that Horikoshi is going to seemingly wrap things up. How many chapters does he have to go to get to fill out volume 42? Where's my mouse? Here it is. I'm gonna look up the volumes real quick. Chapters and volumes. Here we go. This is what I wanted. Go down to volume 40. Perfect. All right. Chapters not yet in the volume format. Oh, that's right. How often do chapters or volumes come out? 39 came out in November, and then 39 came out in November, and 40 came out at the beginning of April. So that's November to December, December to January, January to February, February to March, March to April. So 5 months. So yeah, we should be getting volume 41 in 2 months? I don't know. We should be getting something soon. But we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 chapters, not in the volume format. And I think they said we're volume 41 is closed out by 422, which is the Izuku Midoriya Rising. So that means if he's closing out volume 42, we have 8 chapters left. 8 or 9 chapters. Which makes sense, but also kind of makes me sad. Because, like, the series is ending. We are marching towards the inevitable end of My Hero Academia. There is no another villain is going to crop up and everyone's going to have to get together and fight another war that goes on for 2 more years. No. This is it. Like, we're marching on to the end. And I do think we're going to see a graduation for them. I know, like, Horikoshi says, oh, we're going back to the title, which is My Hero Academia. So the Academia part needs to be wrapped up. I don't think they're just going to be Class 2A. I've seen a lot of people be like, they're Class 2A now. No, I think they graduated, dog. I'm still piloting that theory. I'm still piloting that theory that they're just going to graduate immediately after. And they're going to go back to school, and the school's going to be like, well, I don't know, Deku's the greatest hero of all time. Literally got rid of All for One, and you guys were all there helping, so I think you just graduate and you're done. Go be pros or do whatever you want to do. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. I don't even know, like, where else it could go. And I think that's the best part, is I just don't know. I don't know. I know there's plot threads to be resolved with, like, the Todorokis. I don't even know what that is. I think that's Spinner. Like, the scales that were on him. I mean, it would make sense contextually because those were, like, Shigaraki, All for One, Dabi, Spinner, and Toga were all, like, set up as the final villains of the war arc. Which is also evident if you look at the ending for Season 7. The ED. So, I mean, hey, I think we're going to get resolution on all of those plot threads and a status update on everyone. We don't really know. That's so crazy to me. My lord. I don't have anything else to say, man. I'm so sad for the manga to end because I don't want it to end because I love the series, but also we're, like, any day now, kind of like what I said with the last chapter, any day now we could get that announcement that My Hero Academia will end in Shonen Jump issue number whatever will be the final chapter. And we're so close. Like, it's insane. It's also so interesting for me because I've never followed a series like this up to the end. Like, yes, I've read through the end of Demon Slayer, but I wasn't reading Demon Slayer weekly. I read it when all the volumes were out, all the chapters were out. Like, Love is War was the same way. Like, I read everything, but it was over. Like, same for Mashal. Mashal, like, I'm waiting for the last volumes to come out. There's 2 more, and they'll be out by the end of the year. So, like, that series is going to end. This is the only one that I've followed weekly. I need to pick a new series to get caught up on and stay weekly with. And it'll probably be Dandadan. Because, like, I'm going to miss not having new chapters on Sundays, you know? Like, it's kind of sad. It's kind of cathartic to think, like, I really enjoy this time on Sunday of something to look forward to in, oh, we're getting a new My Hero chapter, so I can read that. And not having that is going to be really weird. So I'll probably pick up Dawn to Dawn. But I also like reading that physically, because that was my one biggest pitfall with My Hero, was I loved it so much that I just started reading it. Like, I picked up the Shonen Jump app and I started binging through the manga and reading everything. And then I got caught up and I started falling behind in the volumes. I didn't get all the volumes until recently, literally like 2 months ago. And I kind of want to stay on pace with the rest of my volumes and the rest of the series I'm reading, so I can just keep reading them physically. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. All we can see here is Deku, Ida, and Kaminari. And that's, look at his hands, bro. His hands are busted. I think the biggest thing I'm excited for next chapter is to see the full extent of everyone's injuries and what stuck and what didn't. Because as you can see, like, Deku got these scars on his face that are obviously going to stick. And, like, everyone else definitely got beat up enough. Like, Jiro got part of her thing cut off when she fought All For One. Hawks doesn't have a quirk. Like, that's crazy. Hagakure basically doesn't have a quirk because she's visible now. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot to be resolved in an epilogue, and I'm very excited for that. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on this chapter. Really good chapter. We'll be back next week to talk about 425. I wonder if he's going to try to end in an even 430. Like, end in an even number, or if he's going to just go until the story's done. I want him to go until the story's done. I don't want him to be like, well, I want to end in 6 chapters, so it's an even number. I would be that kind of guy, but I don't want Horikoshi to do that. So, that's all I have to say. Another pretty short stream. Nothing too crazy. So, hope you all enjoyed. We'll be back next week. Talk about 425. I'm going to go actually work on some YouTube stuff. Got to finalize the video for this week. So, yeah. See you guys next week. Until then, peace out.